Cara V, and I'm from Chicago originally. Spent about 21 years there and then moved out to LA. And then I was in LA for just under 20 years. I had always been a heavy drinker. I tried Coke once and I was like, yeah, okay, wasn't that thrilled with it. And then it kind of came into my life again with a friend of mine who I actually was a previous client. She had it when we were at the bar and I'm like, yeah, why the hell not? So I took a couple bumps. It kept happening a couple times here, a couple times there. Her connection ended up being not only my dealer, but also my boyfriend. So that went from just a dabble to a violent shove into Coke is my everyday, all day life. I was still functioning. I still had an apartment. I still was paying my bills 90% of the time and showing up to work. And I was a bartender at the time. So that kind of made things interesting, being a bartender and trying to not be completely jacked up, but it didn't work. So then one time I had been up for 3 days straight, still showing up to work, still getting dressed every morning, showering, doing everything, but no sleeping and barely any eating. So I panicked. I'm like, okay, something's not right. Called my dad, told my dad everything. Coke, da-da-da. He goes, I knew something was up, but I didn't know what it was. I'm like, well, there you go. So he goes, well, let's do something about it. I'm like, great. So he's like, all right, let me call and see where we can send you and what we can do. I'm like, okay, perfect. So I was like, okay, let's go. And then I wouldn't talk to him and I'd ignore his calls and then I'd answer him and then there's excuse after excuse. There was, oh, it's still the summer. I want to get high and drink and barbecue. And then it was Thanksgiving and then it was Christmas and then it was New Year's and then it was my birthday. By this time I had gotten evicted from my apartment because I couldn't pay my rent anymore. So I called my dad. I'm like, okay, let's do this. Let's get on a plane. Booked me a plane ticket. I packed my bags. I had picked up one last little bit of junk before, handled that at the airport, and then got on the plane and then went to Narconon. I had a really easy time on my program. I was like, I wasn't interested in going back to that life of drinking and drugs. And I was like, I'm just gonna get this fixed. And because I stuck to the program so vigorously and I let the program be what the program was. I didn't go, oh, well, what about this and what about that? And did what I was supposed to do. So the results of the program just worked. There's a difference between placing blame and making that cause over your whole life. Whereas when you went to Narconon, you looked at it from a perspective of, okay, what can I do so this doesn't happen to me again? And how can I be cause and take responsibility in my life? So it's like, how am I going to fix this? Not how am I going to sit here and blame everybody else in the world. The fact of the matter is that pain will always be there until you confront it and until you know how to handle it. And that's what Narconon did, where it's like you can look at it straight in the face and go, okay, this is why, yes, A, B, and C did happen to me, but now I know what to look for. Now I know what to handle. Now I know how to fix it. And you become cause. You become responsible. And you're not becoming effect anymore. Because if you constantly blame everybody and everything else, then you no longer have control over your life. Everything else does. So then after when I left, it was like everything was it was already handled. The tools just innately handled everything. So I've never had an inkling to go back to use. This is not a process of recovering. This is a process of, I'm done. And you now live your life as, I'm not a drinker. I don't do drugs. And that's it. And I am just as crazy and just as fun, if not more, being sober than I was drinking. So the one thing is people are scared that they're going to lose themselves. And they don't. They gain so much more of themselves than they had even before. They become funnier. They become more personable. They become more entertaining. And now it's been 8.5 years. Haven't touched a thing.